Thank you, Hillary, for that.
Mary, you gotta, or somebody press the sound.
It's Bobby. We should all take those tests of, after all this time, we still forget to
Yeah.
hit that one thing.
I can do it.
Raining. No. Yes, it is. My mom told me it was wiggling, not raining. My mom said it is raining. No, my mom told me it was wiggling. Because my mom didn't say it's raining. No, my mom said it's wiggling. My mom said it's raining. Ow! My mom.
All right, it's getting a little too aggressive for these toddlers for me in the morning, but good morning, everyone. It is 8:01 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast. My name is Bobby Mann. I'm the Maddie's Haas Pilot Director. So honored to be co-hosting these calls with Mary Smith. We are going to continue to get it kicked off with the question of the day. I see a few answers, such as bartending, shout out Sarah Aguilar, social worker, Andrea, you already are in the right job. So I love it because of the work that we're doing. But if you did not have the current job that you have in animal welfare, what is a job that you would do outside of animal welfare? And I'm going to pick
Queen of England.
That would be dope. I can see
Yeah,
that.
seriously. Can you apply for that? I think
I mean,
maybe.
I feel
Come
like you
on.
wear crowns on the weekends anyway, Mary, when you walk your dogs.
I could. That's true. Not walking the dogs, but yeah, I should start to resurrect those. Bobby, good morning, everybody. Thank you. This is pretty awesome. So wiggling is my new word now for drizzling. So that's going to be a great weather word. I love that. All right, you guys, let's see. There's a bunch of stuff happening this week that makes this week kind of a special one. You know how sometimes Mondays can be that day. It's like, oh my God, I can't get out of bed. This is a week to get out of bed for. So Caitlin Quinn, Heartspeak. You all remember we had some great presentations by Caitlin. Tomorrow she's doing a, what is she doing? She's doing a workshop on easy to implement and fun ways to reach audiences and the power of positivity. I heard two guys on Sunday, Josh and Noah. I don't know if Stacy LeBaron is on the phone. She's probably not because she did a pretty cool conference this weekend. Yesterday was Diversity Day, and Josh and Noah have created a website called Inspire Unity. And they wanted to try to create more positive, uplifting emotions, sentiments, opportunities to collaborate, connect, and create globally. There were surveys that were done that said really across the planet, people were feeling basically like life sucked, and they wanted to do something about that to change it. And their website is a pretty cool attempt to do that. I'd urge you to take a look at it. They're just two kids. They're in their 20s. They met at college, and they're still in college. And they just wanted to do something that was meaningful, not just for them, but for the planet. And it all has to do with cats. It's pretty great. On Tuesday, we are going to do a candid conversation with Allison Cardona. Allison, I see you. Awesome.
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Thank you, Allison. It's Wednesday. Our Allison, thank you for LA County's Allison. Wednesday, October 20th at 12 o'clock. Allison Cardona is going to share her life story with us, and it's truly remarkable. I would urge you all to register for it. If you can't see it in person, you'll be able to look at it on demand. And Allison, thank you so much for being part of that. I also want to tell you that Haas is doing a survey on bullying and harassment in animal welfare. Please take the time to fill that out. That would just be awesome. Also, the ASPCA has a survey on access to veterinary care. If you take that survey before November 5th, you'll be eligible to receive some Amazon gift cards, and the holidays are coming up. it would be nice to kind of have that little bit of change in our pocket. So I don't know, it's just, I think it's kind of a fun week ahead of us. I like to have all these kinds of events that we can be part of, and being part of something is the why we're here today. And I'm going to turn it back over to Bobby, but I just want to thank you all for being here, all 122 of you. It's amazing that as we are still in the 20th month of COVID, you guys keep showing up just like you always do. And so, as in the words of Lucy Fernandez, thank you all for showing up and giving a shit. So Bobby, back to you.
Hey,
What a
Mary,
vibe.
just a
Go-
quick question, Mary. Did you mention the huddles on Tuesday and Thursday?
Well, actually, Sharon, perfect, because I was going to open this up for national updates and you're already unmuted. So go
All
ahead,
right.
Rockstar.
So I think that's where Mary was going when she said Tuesday, because something's happening almost every day of the week. We are hosting huddles for the Open Arms Challenge. You don't have to be a challenge participant to watch. It is for the challenge participants, but you don't have to be. You can register for those huddles. They're very fascinating, great speakers. I think we've had 4 so far. They're on the forum if you want to watch the recordings, and we have 7 more to go. So please join us.
Thanks, Sharon. Any other national updates from our national organizations?
Hey guys, good morning. It's Bethany with Best Friends. Wanted to make sure everyone knew that we are accepting speaker proposals for a conference next year. It will be July 7th to the 9th in Raleigh. We love speakers from all different types of organizations. Definitely welcome first-time speakers, frontline staff. We want to hear from everybody. So I will drop the link in the chat, and those will stay open through, I should know this, November 19th. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Bethany. It's good to see you. And for those that don't know, Bethany was a big part of helping curate these calls early on. So it's so good to see you here. Anyone else?
Mary already mentioned this, but I thought I would drop the link in the chat again. We're having our webinar tomorrow at HeartSpeak on positive marketing for maximum impact. And I just wanted to reiterate that it's for anyone of any level or role in the organization. So volunteers, fosters, staff, all welcome. And it's a good time to push people who don't think that marketing is part of their job into a kind of fun conversation about marketing.
Caitlin, since you're unmuted, I'm totally going to put you on the spot because one, I loved your presentation. And then I put out a call to action for people to support your organization. How did that go?
It went amazing. I thank you for the opportunity to say thank you again to everyone that participated in that. You all helped us raise over $800 that day. So thank you so much for being a part of that.
Well, we love you and we appreciate you, and you give to us so much. So it's nice to be able to do a little bit for you.
Thank you.
All right, last call for national updates.
This is Jamie with the Haas Project. Sorry, I'm not on camera. I just wanted to remind everyone that our job alikes have kicked off, and we will throw a link in the chat for the ones that are open right now, which is philanthropy, behavior support, and foster. So make sure to get your staff signed up for those. They're really great collaborative conversations.
Thanks, Jamie. And just to add to that, we have the amazing Kelly Dewar from Maddie's that is hosting our foster job alikes, Dr. Segerson from the Maddie's team that is hosting our behavior. And we have an amazing team hosting the philanthropy one as well. In 2 weeks, Brian Doherty from San Diego Humane Society is going to be giving a short presentation in the philanthropy one about how to cultivate a healthy relationship with your board to engage them in fundraising. So I know a lot of you that I talk about how hard it is to get your board ready to bring some funds into the organization. So you do not want to miss that. Please use the link that Jamie put in the chat there. All right, so we have a couple of minutes before I want to get it kicked off, and I see a few new faces. So any first-time folks on this call, Luis Barrera, I see you, brother. It's good to see your face. He's like, oh shit, he's calling on me on the call right now. Can you see me, Luis? Maybe you can't hear me. Anyone else new on this call for the first time? Even if you're a speaker?
I'm new. I'm Andra. I'm speaking as well, but I'm with Dallas Pets Alive.
Welcome, Andrew. We're excited to hear from you shortly. Anyone else? You're welcome to use the chat as well.
I'm also new. I'm Sarah, speaking with Andrew later. I'm with Spay Neuter Network.
Awesome. Samantha Bergen, you want to unmute and say hello?
Hello, I'm Samantha Bergen. I'm from the French Street Animal Shelter. I'm the cat foster rescue coordinator. I don't have a camera on my computer, so I just have the microphone.
Sam, it is so good to hear your voice. I miss you so much.
I miss you too.
Well, we got to catch up soon, but
Absolutely.
Let's get it kicked off into our presentations. You know, I saw that a few folks were talking about maybe potentially being social workers in different jobs. And as we shift our movement, we have a very much more of a case management approach. So obviously the amazing innovator, Chris Roy at Dubert, is always one step ahead of the rest of us. And he's been focusing on creating this companion case management program, which is amazing. And he's brought two amazing organizations to share with him. But I'm going to kick it over to Leslie Slans from Dallas Pets Alive to get our presentation kicked off.
Hey everybody, happy Monday. Thanks for having us. So I'm Leslie Sands. I'm the executive director for Dallas Pets Alive. And so this whole concept started right before the pandemic hit. And it was just a beautiful collaboration between a shelter, Spay Neuter Network, which is a spay neuter clinic here in Dallas, and then DPA, which is a animal rescue. So we wanted to do better together, basically, for not only the pets that we were serving, but their families as well. Dallas Animal Services reached out to us back in 2017, actually. We've been working with DAS on preventative work for a long, long time through our PASS program. And so we were heavy into that. We had been collaborating with DAS and saving a lot of lives and preventing shelter surrenders through our PASS program, but DAS wanted to do more. So they reached out to Spay Neuter Network that had a call center, and to see if they would be able to manage the 311 call system and focus on the individuals that were calling into 311 and helping them find ways to prevent them from going into the shelter. So this was all happening pre-pandemic, right? And then the pandemic hit and we were like, whoa, we've got to move quickly because we're now all virtual and we're all scheduling these appointments now. So it kind of worked out in our favor, actually. So we kickstarted the case management system with Spay Neuter Network and DAS, and they started managing all of the 311 calls coming in from individuals here in the city that were potentially going to surrender their pets. So we took the advantage of that extra time that we had to see if we could step in and help them find a solution and a way to not have to surrender. And that's where DPA and Spay Neuter Network started collaborating together. So our PASS program provides all sorts of resources. We are a grant funded program. So if there's anything that an individual or a family needs to keep their pet in their home, we will find a way for them to do that. So they were getting these calls in from 311, and then they were connecting us to the individual or the family so we could help support them through that process. So this process was really messy, honestly. There was 5 different systems that Spay Neuter Network was having to navigate through Acuity and all these various other systems. So we found that we needed to find some sort of solution to make our lives a lot easier. It was just too messy, too complicated, and we needed to integrate some technology into this wonderful work, this preventative work that we're all doing now, right? How do we make our lives better, easier, so we can help make the lives of the people that we're working with and their pets easier, right? So I applied for grants. So this is a completely grant funded project, and we're so grateful and thankful that we received that grant. And at that point, once that was received, we reached out to Dubert and said, you know what, you guys are already in the animal welfare space. This is what we want to do. This is how complicated it is. We really want to create a system where we can take the inquiry that we're getting from 311 and watch it and manage it all the way to the outcome. So inquiry to outcome, really that social work kind of thing that you were talking about, Bobby, from the beginning to the very end, right? And so we have so many awesome things to show you today. I'm very, very excited about it. Chris and his team have been wonderful to work with. You know, this was the brainchild of myself and the former executive director of Spay Neuter Network. And so he's and his team at Dubert have really kind of just taken this concept and idea and have brought it to life for us. So Chris, I will send it over to you now.
Thanks, Leslie. Well, we're really excited to work with you guys as well. And I promise I'll just do a quick kind of 30 seconds, just in case people aren't familiar with Dubert. I mean, a lot of people know Dubert for the transport stuff. If you remember last year, we launched our foster space module. So we're the only ones that have a foster management module. And that's about the time we started working with Leslie and team on the companion case management. So just a quick one pager here to give you an overview of kind of the things that Dubert does. You know, the way I like to describe it is we do the things that your shelter software can't do. So again, foster management, transport, partnerships. We've got over 35,000 volunteers that anybody can use. We've done all sorts of amazing things with video and text messaging, and this companion case management is really, really exciting. I think you're really going to love just the capabilities that it gives you, and that you can use it in any way that benefits your organization. So I'm going to stop doing my little sales pitch here, and I'm going to turn it over to Sarah and Andra, and I'll be back to help answer questions.
Thanks, Chris. So I'm going to give just a little bit more kind of set the stage, and then Sarah is actually going to screen share, and we're going to kind of show you an example case of what case management looks like. So essentially, and again, I'm Andra with Dallas Pets Alive. I work with Leslie. I manage all of our animal operations as well as our PASS program. And just to back up, so we keep saying PASS program, but I want to make sure you understand what it is and what it stands for. It stands for Positive Alternatives to Shelter Surrender. So Leslie said we are really focused on intake diversion. We've been working collaboratively with Dallas Animal Services for several years, like Leslie said. And also we're helping, you know, really throughout North Texas, trying to keep families together. So just wanted to kind of explain. So one of the beautiful things about CCM is that multiple parties can all work together in the same place. So what we are working towards in Dallas is basically the 311 call center that's fielding the animal surrender calls, shelter, rescue partners, PASS program to help prevent surrenders are all working together in the same place and can also pass cases back and forth between one another. So like Leslie said, instead of having, you know, 5 or 6 different places where we're all doing this work and all doing it sort of in silos separately, we're all going to be able to do it and track it in one place. So we're really going to have a great handle on what is actually happening in Dallas holistically. You know, of the pets that we know what happens to the pets that go to the shelter, right? They become an intake. But of the pets that we are providing resources or diverting in other ways, what's happening with those? And are we providing that customer support and good experience along the way and really knowing what happens with those pets? And keep in mind the term that is used within CCM about the group who is signed up and working together, it's called a coalition. And so a coalition can be a group of different organizations working together in here. So it could be anything. I mean, it could be shelters, it could be rescues, it can be, you know, if you're working with community resources like pet food pantries, community cat groups, really, it could be any kind of partner organization that you work with within your process. So I'm going to hand it over to Sarah for a minute, and she's going to click around and show you a bit in here, and we're going to actually show you a case that can kind of move between the 311 call center and our PASS program to try and divert an intake.
Awesome, thanks, Andra. My name is Sarah. I'm the Community Engagement Manager of Spay Neuter Network, so super excited to show you what we've been working on. So when you first log into your CCM, you can get to your overview page, which just shows you your different case types, the case statuses. You can look at your team status and see, you know, how many cases each individual has. And from there, we can go to our list of cases. One of the really cool things about this is you've got, you can see it in a list view, all of your different cases, but then you can also go to a map view. So if you wanted to see, for example, if you're tracking your community cats and you wanted to see, is there a neighborhood that has an excessive amount of loose cats, you can go and pull it up here on your map and see pinpointed on the map where those calls are coming in from. And as Andrea said, this is really focused on bringing organizations together. How can we work together? Every organization has a different specialty that they can offer. And so connecting, individuals with PATH who can offer anything from medical assistance to training assistance to maybe it's an organization that has a boarding facility that could offer temporary boarding for someone that's in a transitional period. So it's really cool to see how all of these can come together. So we'll show you a little bit about a case, walking through from start to finish. So we have this case here, Mary Sue and her dog Mary. For Dallas, and this is set up specifically for Dallas, but you can change it to however your organization needs it. So if you want to use this as an individual organization to manage your cases, you can do that. If you want to use it to manage cases with multiple organizations, you can do that. So for us, Dubert was able to set it up that new calls for owner surrenders come automatically into our CCM. And so we have Mary Sue here. Once her case is entered into our system, under our communication tabs here, we can execute a workflow. And so we've executed a workflow for an intake survey. So rescue shelters likely have their own version of an intake survey to gather information on that pet. So that's what this is. If you have other services that you provide that maybe you need to get additional information for, you can set it up for that as well. So we've initiated our workflow. You can see all of the conversation here so that we've initiated that workflow. We sent that intake survey to Mary Sue. We sent a follow-up text message to her, and all of those responses will come back to our conversation tab there. You can send emails, you can send text messages, creating your own templates as well. And from there, we get all of our information about the pet. And so we can go into Mary the dog's profile and see all of this information. One of the great things with what we're doing right now is I work closely with local rescues to try to network these pets out. So to see if they have fosters available that they can take these pets into their organization before they make it to the shelter. So a little bit less stress for that animal. They can go straight from one home to another versus, home, shelter, possible rescue, possible adopted home, but just keeps them out of that stressful environment. And so they can see, different information here. They can click on the profile. As we add information, this profile will build. As we add information about the pet, the profile will build. So something really cool as well, that as rescues join our coalitions, they can view these animals. And from there, we can then, so we've learned from Mary Sue that her dog has heartworm and she can't afford the treatment. Well, we know that PATH can oftentimes assist with heartworm treatment. So from there, I can transfer this case to Andrea and her team with PATH. So I select my coalition, I select Dallas Pets Alive, I'll make sure I select Mary, because also if maybe they have multiple pets, maybe they have, 2 dogs and just one of them needs heartworm treatment. So I don't need to send both animals to Dallas Pets Alive if they just need one. So I can send just Mary to Dallas Pets Alive. And then I would transfer that case over to DPA. And from here, I think Andrew will take it over and show you what happens on their end.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am not seeing the screen to the share screen anymore.
Might be, I'm gonna stop Andras here and see if it works for you now.
There we go. Thanks so much. All right, are you able to see now? All right, so like Sarah said, she basically was transferring this case. So we're going to assist Mary with her heartworm treatment through our PASS program. So what I've actually done in here is shown, and I'll show you an example of the communication history. So Mary's owner needed help with heartworm, Mary Sue. And so I sent a template, which we've set up in the system, which is basically a questionnaire to determine program eligibility for Mary Sue. So this is an example of a template that you can set up within CCM. So we don't have to read through the whole thing, but I just wanted to visually show you that any email communications that you have with the client or whoever it is that you're working with will be housed in CCM, so you can track the history of all of that. But the really great thing is that the templates are totally customizable by yourself. So, I mean, we have lots of different examples here of past program templates that we've set up, but it can be customized to anything that your organization does. So rather than manually typing emails, your staff and volunteers can pull up, you know, these various templates, and it saves a lot of time on the manual typing stuff. So you can pull up any of these templates at any time, and that will save you, you know, lots of time and back and forth. And not only are the templates available in email form, they're also available in text form. So you can create any text templates that you would like for, you know, probably common scenarios that you would encounter within your organization. For our PASS program, we have templates also in both English and Spanish. So that way, those are all very easily accessible to our staff and volunteers. I mean, the beauty of it is really it's totally flexible. You can manage your own templates live whenever you want. If something in your process changes, you can easily just go in and remove, add, or edit any of the templates that you've created for your process. And again, all these communications, both email and text, are housed within the tool. So everybody's chatting in one place. And I know Sarah touched on this a bit, but, you know, for this example, I sent Mary Sue the email to see if Mary would qualify for heartworm assistance through our program. Let's say I didn't hear back from Mary Sue in a couple days and I wanted to check in and make sure she'd received our message and, you know, see if she still needed assistance. We can create follow-up tasks to remind ourselves to do that, or you can assign a task to somebody else. So if I wanted to go in and create, you know, a task here for Mary to follow up on medical assistance, I can assign that to anybody in our organization at whatever date I want to assign it to. So that way there's sort of a, you know, tickler system to follow up on cases. And really, you know, once you know, let's say in this case, you know, we provide Mary with her heartworm treatment. We know that she's all set. You know, Mary does not need to be surrendered anymore. We can close that case. And so that case will be archived. The beauty of all of this too is that there's also the reporting. So, you know, you can pull reports if, you know, for example, if you're a shelter and wanted to track zip code trends or something of that nature, or, you know, the volume of cases per month, what types of cases are you seeing, that kind of thing. That all will be reportable and accessible to you. So hopefully this helped give you at least a little bit of a visual of the types of things that you'll see within CCM. And I'm going to pass it back over to Chris to see if anybody has any questions on the process or technical end of it.
First off, Chris Roy, does anybody else on this call watch Dancing with the Stars? Because the way that y'all literally danced from screen share to screen share, I was like, is the cha-cha going on right now? I wish I had one of those big signs that could give y'all a 10. So that was amazing. Chris, can you actually read? I know you answered Josh's question in the chat, but if you don't mind reading that aloud, I think it's a really important question.
Yeah, so if you didn't see, so Josh was asking, you know, how is the case initially set up? So as you probably saw in there, you as the organization, so you can go sign up on Dubert, you can start creating cases right away, just manually. If you want, we can do like what we did with CCM with Dallas Pets Alive and Spay Neuter, we can take like a web form, a Google form that sends you an email, and we can automatically have those open up a case. We can take something like what comes from City of Dallas, right? 311, they use Salesforce, it sends an email. So there's a lot of things that we can do to automatically open up cases for you. So if you've got a web form or something like that that you want to use. And then the other cool thing that you should definitely check out is our automated workflow. So what's really cool is you can now set it and forget it, if you will, right? So you can start an automated workflow to text the client and just check in and wait 3 days and check again and wait 2 days and send an email and wait 2 days and close the case. So we've really tried to focus on a lot of automation, both on the front end and the back end, to make things a lot easier for you. I see a question came in from Laura, and I figured this question, I didn't put this on my sheet. So it's free, right? So CCM is free thanks to the Reese Jones Foundation for the grant working with Dallas Pets Alive and Spay Neuter Network. So all of this is developed for free. We're going to try and reach as many organizations as we possibly can to give you this amazing advanced technology.
Chris Roy, when I saw at the top, I had to rub my eyes because it said, what plan do you have? The forever free plan. I was like, leave it to Chris Roy to just make our souls happy.
I do what I can. Technology is not free, but I definitely want to try and reach as many people. And I was really excited when I was approached by Leslie with Dallas Pets Alive, and they wanted to make it available to everybody. They didn't want to just do something just for them, because that's something that's really important. I think all of you know that's important to me, and that was something that was important to them. So you can go get signed up if you don't already have a Dubert account. Go get one; they're free, obviously, to get a Dubert account. But go check it out, and happy to set up a demo or anything like that. So I see a question just came in from Rebecca. Does this communicate with shelter software? So yes. So Dubert has the ability today to, we have pretty tight integration with Shelter Buddy and Shelter Love. Pet Point is a little bit harder. Shelter Manager is pretty good. So it really depends on which shelter software you have. I'm very open to connecting with any of them. It's just I need a little bit of help from their side to make the integration work. So depending on which one that you're using, Rebecca, just let me know, and we're happy to do that. Other questions here. Let's see. Trying to scroll past all the comments.
Hey, Chris,
here.
there was, if you go up a little bit, there was a question from Jackie about a dashboard.
About dashboard. Is there dashboards? You have the visibility to all tasks and make sure that everyone is following up and through. Yes, there is actually a dashboard. It was the first screen that Andrea showed. So you can view all of the tasks, or you can sort it and view by your tasks, or cases, I should say, and also tasks, right? So even within any particular case, you can set up tasks. So you, as the case, you might have separate case managers from the people that are doing the individual items, but you have the ability to view all of those things, so you can easily see what's open, closed, left to be followed up on, etc. Other questions?
I think there was one last question we'll have you field about if the client came back with the same, let's say the same heartworm issue, do you open the same case or create a new case?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, Julian. If it's done, it really just depends how the client comes back to you, honestly, right? So if they're responding to the same case, we can keep it in the same case because we know it's related to the case. If they come at you completely new, then it's going to open up a new case. But you can certainly link the two cases together. That's one of the really cool things. We've got related cases. So if you go, yeah, I can go look and say this client did the same thing and just relate the two cases together and close out the duplicate. So we tried to give you lots of options to manage your cases, your way that works for your organization.
All right, Chris, I got one last question in closing for the rest of your amazing speakers. So change. All we keep doing is changing, adding new things, new innovations, new technologies. It's a lot on our staff, right? So taking in this new technology, how hard was it to adapt to it and sort of adopt this new workflow? I would love to hear from maybe Leslie.
Honestly, this was designed to create less stress for us. I know everybody is feeling the stress of lack of volunteers, staffing issues, and all of the above, this is making our lives easier, bottom line. And we are open so much to having any ease in our lives. So CCM is a way for us to be a little less stressed out, being able to follow, again, a case from the beginning to the very end and being much more intentional about that. And that's what we all, I'm sure, are feeling right now. So take advantage. We wanted everybody to use the system just like we are, make it your own, and let's save some lives together with CCM.
I love it, Leslie. Speaking of change, we are going to move over to our next and final speaker, but Chris Roy, anything you would like to say in closing?
No, I echo what Leslie said. So it's been a great partnership. It's been a year of work. So really excited for us to soft launch this today, and excited for all of you to go check it out. Love to do demos, answer questions. If you find bugs, please let me know. It's custom built. So it just, we're excited to be able to bring this to all of you. Thanks.
And I'm going to echo what Caitlin said for being amazing. Chris, you were so amazing. Thanks for all that you do. For those of you don't know, Chris also has a full-time job, and working in animal welfare is a passion project for him. And he is always willing to make time for me and the rest of the folks on Haas to try to troubleshoot problems. So Chris, you truly are an asset to the animal welfare field. And I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions. So if you want to drop your email in the chat again, I'm hoping we'll get more and more organizations signed up.
Thanks, Bobby.
All right, Mia, are you here, my friend?
I am.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to tell folks, okay, obviously I was hyping Chris Roy because he is my bro, but Mia is one of the newest friends that I've made in the animal welfare space, and it feels like we've known each other for so long. She's the Best Friends Communications Manager for Multicultural Initiatives. And as we just closed up, whatever language you use, Hispanic, Latine, Latinx, Heritage Month, Mia and the team at Best Friends have been doing an amazing job talking about strategic communication. We talk about all these new innovations and programs, but it's amazing what Mia and the team have been doing to really slow down and have the most basic conversations with communities that we've been overlooking. So Mia, I'm going to toss it over to you and get your presentation kicked off.
All right. Okay, can you see it okay?
We can see it. There's a little bit of feedback from your mic. Keep talking. Might have gotten better.
Yeah,
now.
I don't.
That's perfect now. That's
okay.
perfect now.
Sometimes I have like this. Anyway, yeah, probably need a new computer.
And then maybe you might want to just drop it into presentation mode, because unless you want to keep the slides on the side.
Actually, I'm gonna keep it so that I can go faster this way. I can see this
Perfect.
slides I'm going through. So, okay, well, I'll get started because there's a lot to go through, and I apologize if you've seen this presentation before. Maybe you'll learn something that wasn't caught the last time around. So, and like Bobby said, I'm Mia, and I work on all Spanish language communication for Best Friends. And so I'll tell you a little bit about the story of kind of Best Friends and what we're doing. And then for the sake of this presentation, we are going to see all of the different variations in this presentation, Latinx, Latina, Hispanic, or Latino, Latina. For this presentation, we are talking about Spanish language. So I just kind of use all of them. So you'll see that. And then I think it's important to note or kind of see where we started at Best Friends, and it was really in the DE&I space. And once it was identified that, yes, we need to do DE&I and we need to be really intentional and we need to do a concerted effort, it was then acknowledged, okay, in addition to DE&I, we just need to be intentional about talking to other communities that, might speak a different language and that we're doing a lot of work in, but not necessarily really being intentional about how we're talking to them. And so that really kind of came out of DE&I, and that was multicultural marketing. And so when I came on board, we were having the discussions about what is DE&I, what is multicultural, and they are two separate things, but they do build on each other. So, embarking on multicultural marketing really depends on having DE&I already in place, already moving along, and having some buy-in, having buy-in from your internal organization about, yes, we need to move forward with this. Doing multicultural without that buy-in is really an awful experience, because then you're not ready to receive people. So, and some people might say, I think the first thing we got is, but shouldn't all of our shelter partners be ready before we do this? And, normally you like to have all your ducks in a row, right? But when you think about the fact that shelter staff does turn over quite frequently, and life-saving is critical, we really kind of have to build the bridge as we're crossing it. So that's really what we're doing. But we feel that having DE&I already at Best Friends, having that buy-in from the executive team all the way down is really helping launch multicultural. So we really kind of took it from there, and I just really introduced the reason why now, we really had to choose, okay, what markets are we going to go after? Who are we going to talk to? And really, the first thing that pops up is the Latinx population or the Hispanic population, because it is almost 20% of the overall population, and it's going to continue to grow. And we do a lot of work in California and Texas, and already in those states, it's the majority population. So it was really important that we begin now and quickly. So to kind of mobilize ourselves, we partnered with Casanova McCann, and they're an ad agency that really focuses on just Latinas. And that's important for us because I think in the past, we had always looked at everything in terms of translating. So we would put something out in English and then say, hey, this is a good message in Spanish. Let's go ahead and translate it and get it into Spanish publications. And the problem with that is that translation makes the assumption that everybody's at the same place with the brand, right? And sometimes the message isn't the same. You might have a phrase that's really funny in English, but once you translate it, it's like, what is that? So we really wanted people that were, cultural translators, really creating campaigns and really looking to kind of a new way of thinking and a new way of doing creative in the Spanish-speaking community. So we started off with research, and I think here what we did that was different than we'd ever done before, is that we did some of the research in Spanish. And I think before that, it was always, I know it was always done in English. So we would do a study and say, okay, yeah, we covered Hispanics. Well, the questions were, okay, well, how many? Oh, well, 500. Okay, well, did they all answer in English? Yeah. Well, then what you're getting is the bicultural Hispanic that is really consuming more general market media. So you're getting a portion of the population, but you're not getting the full scope of the population as a whole. So we really don't have a point of view. So we went into this research with doing Spanish as well as English. And then that gave us kind of this baseline to go on of, where are they in the different topics that we're going to talk about? So we really talked about spay and neuter and a lot of different topics, and just to see, okay, where is our bicultural Latina at, and where is our more Spanish dominant Latina at? And we got some really interesting results. But the big takeaways are not new to us, right? Latinos love their pets. They treat them like family members, sometimes more like grandchildren than children. They get treated better than the children. They really like the idea of having a new pet. So the idea of having a puppy or, getting that pet that they can raise kind of as a baby. They really didn't know that shelters were full, and that was a problem. But the minute that they were opened up to that, they wanted to help. And the first thing that they wanted to do was adopt. So there was a lot of other things that they had to say, but basically for us, what was important was that they had really strong emotional feelings around having a pet. They definitely turn to their friends first, and we've talked about this before. Community influencers are just such a big part of their daily lives and how they turn to how they turn to different people like business owners and even their priests for information. So they did have some adoption barriers in terms of, they really wanted a puppy and a specific breed. But they did mention that among the barriers, it was easier than the adoption process, or I didn't know where to go to adopt. So there were already these thoughts, even though that they hadn't necessarily checked them out, about what adoption was and how it might be a convoluted process. So I'm just gonna go buy my puppy. They said they knew some things about adoption, but not a lot. And then when it came to spay and neuter, when we had done our brand study, it was like, oh, well, they never got around to it, didn't want to risk negative outcomes. But really what they told us was they wanted their dog or cat to have a litter. And those that didn't was, well, I just didn't think much about it. I don't know much about it. So there was an information gap there. So when we started looking at creative and how are we going to approach all of these things, right? There's all of this communication, but what it came down to was we need to connect them to the shelter and understanding what's happening at a shelter, where their shelter is. So what we realized that we needed to really back up, because we needed to basically introduce adoption as shelter adoptions, animal welfare adoptions, versus adoption of getting your pet at a pet store, getting your pet from Craigslist, which were all under the adoption umbrella. So, so the first thing that Casanova really thought about and came to us with was, when there's a dog missing, no matter what, even with social media and next door, there's still flyers that go up, and they go up in your community, and the whole community rallies around trying to find this pet for the family. And it's something that no matter where you are, if you see a poster like this or a flyer, you're automatically like, oh, let me help in this effort. And so it still goes around today. And even if you're using social media, you're still finding ways to connect the dog or look for the dog for that person, for that family. So they took that concept and just kind of flipped the switch on it. They said, well, our dogs, our shelter dogs, they're not lost per se. They're here. What's missing is the family. So they just kind of turned it around. They're like, maybe we need to rally everyone around finding a family. So this isn't a new idea. It's the creative execution that I think makes it really interesting. So it's missing family, familia perdida, and it's from the dog's point of view, from their voice. So they're kind of saying, this is what my family is like. Could you be that family? And if so, adopt me. And then there's a code, and let me kind of show you how we treated it. So we really looked at the treatment of being outside. So you see that there's kind of a tree there. And then there's the flyer on top. And so the flyer focuses on the pet, right? Again, what's also down at the bottom of this flyer is don't buy, adopt from your local shelter. So we're trying to go ahead and make that break between adoption and buying, because they were really fitting it all under one. And then we wanted to give them the option and kind of the thought process of adopt at your local shelter. So where is that local shelter? What is that? What's happening there? And that's what we want them to think about. So that's really what the poster focuses on. And it's not a tagline, but it's kind of the call to action on everything is don't buy, adopt from your local shelter. And this is what it looks like. We've taken different outside areas, so like a pole, in the city, and then we put an actual flyer on top. So the creative is actually sitting underneath. So if somebody takes the flyer, it's still there, but it does have a flyer that's is adhered onto it. So it actually looks like a real flyer that's there, so that people will walk up to it and want to learn more. Here is how it got executed. So this is outdoor that is at bodegas. So it's in Spanish dominant neighborhoods near their grocery stores or carniceria. So, it's kind of part of that environment. And then we go to print. So in print, it just looks like, the paper, the crumpled up paper is still the same one that is on the outdoor, but we've just brought it to print. You can see what it looks like here. The campaign as a whole has a lot of other pieces. So there is a TV and radio PSA. Again, this is all from the dog's point of view. So it's really the dog kind of appealing to the public to find their family. We have social media ads that are in development. We did do a sponsorship with Telemundo on their Clear the Shelters on the Spanish side, as well as we're looking at engaging celebrities in some print for late winter, kind of early 2022. We do have social media channels in Spanish. We have Facebook and Instagram. And then we are creating, this is part of what's called Good Neighbor Outreach, where we really have like different, what we call community builders. And it's a step-by-step guide on how to go out and connect with the neighbors in your community. And really when we mean neighbors, we're like, the Hispanic chamber, the Spanish restaurants, any kind of business that's around you that is Spanish language focused, and building a plan around how to engage the Spanish language community through being a good neighbor. And then kids soccer, we really wanted to do grassroots efforts. So we are partnering with a brand new soccer league. It's a student soccer league in McAllen, Texas. And really they want, the owners of the league want for the kids to be part of the idea process of how to engage their parents and their community in reaching out and talking about adoption. So that's going to be really cool. They're actually just finishing their season, and we'll be going down there and talking to them about how we're going to engage in 2022 with them. So that'll be a lot of fun. For public relations, what we did with Telemundo was really new. So normally they have packages, right? And you sponsor them and you get your logo on things. We wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit more engaging. And since we know, Hispanics tend to love their news, they like their news people, they are like celebrities in their community. We really wanted to engage them in dialogue about Best Friends Animal Society and talking about what we do and what we need. So in this case, we worked with Telemundo to have a 2-minute segment in Acceso Total, which is one of their shows. And one of our spokespeople, Dora there, had a conversation about what was happening in the shelters and the crisis of the, being at, overcapacity, needing more help, and needing more fosters. So, and this aired, this was just a PR opportunity in Texas. Along with that, we did do some digital ads with Telemundo to see, it's just part of the campaign. A lot of Hispanics are on social media. They are the highest really users of social media. They've always been kind of ahead of the curve, including ahead of the general market when it comes to adapting to technology. So we did do that. We launched our first Spanish website. It is not a translation of our site, but it does give them the news or the information they need. So it basically goes straight on the homepage. How can you help? And it's spay and neuter, adopt, and foster. A big part of the site is on advocacy because for me, if you're doing multicultural, you have to be really part of the advocacy movement, and how and what are you doing to help them advocate for their communities and for their pets. So that's a big part of the site. And then coming up, we have a collaborative, which is with shelter partners to really discuss kind of big things and how we can provide them with any information, any leadership when it comes to that. So one of the big topics that we're going to talk about is glossary. What kind of language do you need to use? What are the best way to translate certain terms to have them be understandable? So that's part of that. We started Community Cats in Spanish. We've actually got a page devoted to that. Continuing to build that good neighbor and identifying more sponsorships to engage the Spanish language market. And that is it for me. That was a lot of stuff.
But so amazing. Mia, one of the things that when you talked about using language that people can understand or interpret, can you talk to folks about the language that you used for fostering?
Yeah, so one of the things I always heard was, I don't know how to communicate fostering. And I think that in Spanish in particular, it's just a hard word. We don't use the word fostering even in Spanish in that translated version often. So we get caught up in the language and then miss what you want us to do. So we really just made it really simple. Since we are in the beginning of our dialogue, we just made it, what is fostering? It's a temporary home. So we call it hogar temporal. So that is fostering. So when we go out there and we do media interviews, we ask the public, you know what, today you can sign up and you can be el hogar temporal for this pet. So we just go straight into, you can be the temporary home, you can be the temporary family. So we use them interchangeably, temporary home, temporary family, to get them to just go and do what we need them to do.
Amazing. And so you have about 100 shelters on this call right now, probably many that are doing the work, maybe some that just don't even know where to start. Is there one piece of advice that you would give folks leaving this call and after your presentation?
Yeah, I think it's important that everyone on the team is on board. So I think, and this is why I go back to DE&I. DE&I is really important as you begin your multicultural, right? Because if you don't have buy-in from everybody on your team that this is the right thing to do, this is what we're going to do together, then the experience isn't going to be great when somebody comes and actually has tries to come to you after you've reached out to them. So I think ensuring that your team understands why you're doing what you're doing, and that is kind of what we did at Best Friends. Before we engaged in the marketing, we didn't go straight into the marketing. We spent a few months just talking to them about the importance of doing this and why. And that's why I had slides about, hey, we're 18.5% of, the nation as a whole. And in some communities, we are 90%, right? You go to the Rio Grande Valley where it's 80-90% Hispanic. So I built the case first and ensured that everybody was on board, like an urgency, like, wow, you're right, we have to be there. We have to be in language. And then it made the work, the execution of the work, much easier because the whole team, the entire organization was behind it. So
I love that. Really grounded in the why. Mia, thank you so much. This is just amazing work. Definitely gonna email out the website. I think folks should definitely be sharing that with your organizations. Please use the Best Friends social media platforms as well if you don't know where to start. But Mary Smith, I'm gonna toss it over to you to close us out.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Mia. That was just an incredible presentation. I think all of our brains are full right now, just trying to think about how we can try to just be better allies to the different people in our communities. So thank you for that, Mia. And Chris, Roy, you are definitely one of our heroes. You continue to challenge us to find new and better ways to do the work that we have to do. And Andra and Leslie, thank you both for showing us how groups can come together, use technology, make our lives easier and better. So with that, I'm out, you guys. Have a great week. There's lots to learn this week. I hope to see you on some of the other webcasts and things that are going on. So thank you all. Be safe. Stay
Thanks,
healthy.
everyone.